Okay, so I just got back from watching Kraven the Hunter, aka Sony's last spin-off Spider-Man villain movie, and I gotta say, this was a decent watch. Really enjoyed this movie. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the best superhero movies of the year, which isn't saying much because there hasn't been that much Marvel content this year recently. But I gotta say, I felt more satisfied with this movie than I did with Venom: The Last Dance, and especially Madam Web. This is one of the best. This is one of the best Sony Spider movies they've made. It felt like an anti-hero movie. This is about an anti-hero, Kraven the Hunter. He's not a hero. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's not an anti-hero movie. He's still fighting bad guys, but he kills people." This is an R-rated movie, and I can see why they gave this an R rating over Venom, because Venom is a kid-friendly trilogy. It's very goofy. This is not a goofy movie. Well, at some points it is, but this is mostly just a serious action movie. It doesn't really need the connection to Spider-Man. There's not that many connections to Spider-Man, but there still are. To like all those leakers who said, "Oh, they cut out all the Spider-Man references." That's a lie. Okay, there are a lot of Spider-Man references, but it didn't really need it, because this movie, I saw this with my mom, and she didn't even know this was about Spider-Man. She just thought it was about this Viking guy, and you can go in watching this movie without knowing who Kraven is, because they did a very good job showing his origin story, and the Spider-Man references are still there. A lot of the stuff from the trailer was cut out, but a lot actually stayed in. I feel like the reshoots that delayed this movie all the way to December of this year instead of October of last year, it was worth it, because we get, spoiler alert, we get Kraven, obviously, Rhino as the main villain. Originally he was meant to be in the post-credit scene, just a tease, but they reshot the film and they made him the main villain. We also get Kraven's brother, which is the Chameleon. They referenced him a lot. He's like an impersonator, and his dad refers to him as the Chameleon. But we actually see Chameleon at the end of the movie. It's not an end credit scene. There's no end credit scenes in this movie. I didn't know. I wouldn't know if there was one, because I didn't bother to stay till the end of the credits. But we see Chameleon. We see his face, his bald, white mask, and it was really cool. The CGI, very, very, very bad, especially on Rhino. But I don't care. The final fight scene, the final battle against Kraven and Rhino, I was impressed with. Rhino turns into his, Rhino form, and he screams Kraven. It just felt like a comic book, and the trailer really made it seem like it was just a CGI battle. But there's actually a lot of hand-to-hand combat in the final fight, which I was actually surprised by. We also get some other characters. There's like this one teleporting guy. I actually don't know who he is. I don't remember his name. I can't think of if he was in a comic or not. I don't read comics. But we had Calypso. I knew that name sounded familiar. I searched her up. She was actually Kraven's love interest in the comics. I only know her from the Spider-Man 3 game that came out like 20 years ago. So I thought that was really cool that they had her in there. I will say that even though there are reshoots in the film, and I do think the film benefited from it, there was actually a lot of, bad ADR. Not as bad as Madam Web ADR, but there were just some scenes where, a character would say something like, "I've got a bad feeling about this," and it just came off really weird. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, I really liked him. He's Quicksilver, but now he's Kraven. Everyone says, Russell Crowe should have been Kraven, but the dude's 50. He's overweight. I think he did a very good job. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was good in Bullet Train and Age of Ultron. So I think he did a good job as Kraven. Honestly, he doesn't sound like him, but it's a different take on him, on Kraven, because he has superpowers now. He gets the super soldier serum, which makes him communicate with animals. It's not to the extent that's in the trailer. As I said, a lot of the stuff in the trailer was cut out. He can't really communicate with animals. He can just sort of use the abilities of an animal to hunt people. He doesn't hunt animals. I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's an animal activist. He supports animals. This isn't Kraven." But would you rather watch a movie where Kraven hunts animals, or a movie where he hunts criminals? Like, come on, man. I don't really care. At the end of the movie, he does get the iconic suit from his dad. He kills his dad at the end of the movie, which is really cool, because I did not like that character. So it's fine, I guess. But, it does tease a sequel, which is probably never going to happen, which I'm kind of sad about. I would have liked to see a Kraven 2. It would have been cool to see him fight another Spider-Man villain like Scorpion or Lizard or something, because this movie isn't set in the TASM universe, as a lot of people were thinking. Obviously, Rhino isn't Paul Giamatti, who played him in TASM 2, which I'm fine about. I think the Rhino in this movie was actually better than Paul Giamatti's Rhino. And, we see a fight scene with Rhino. We waited like 10 years for this. The last time we saw Rhino was 10 years ago, and now we see him again. We still have the scene of the spiders in the forest when Kraven's hallucinating. I know a lot of people thought that was going to be cut out, but there's spiders in the movie. Oh, Spider-Man reference. And they also cut out the scene in the first trailer where the dad's like, he's weak like his mother, leave him. And then he just leaves his son to die with a lion. That's not in the movie, which I'm glad they cut out because it would have been a kind of a goofy moment. But still, this isn't really much of a goofy Sony movie. It's just very serious action, and I like it. Would I rather rewatch this again than Madam Web? Probably not, because I feel like Madam Web is such an easy movie to watch. Just turn your brain off. You can't really turn your brain off on this movie because it feels like more of a movie. It's a better movie than The Last Dance because there was more effort put into it. This movie took 2 years to make, and I think they did a very good job with it. So if you're a person who was hesitant on seeing this movie, I'd say go watch it, honestly. You don't need to understand the whole lore of Spider-Man and Marvel to understand this movie because it does a good job showing the origin of Kraven, and my mom really liked it. She just thought it was a cool Viking movie about a hunter. And that's how you should look at the movie. Don't look at it as a Spider-Man spin-off movie. Just look at it as a movie. It's a standalone movie. There's no setup for a sequel in the after credit scene. I feel like the movie concludes in a good way where if you want a sequel, you can make one. But it's probably not going to happen because this movie's R-rated and no one wants to see it. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on Kraven the Hunter. I thought it was very good. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Go watch it. Have fun. I'll see you guys later.